Hello, you're joining us in Colindale, and I'm standing underneath this sign and you're thinking, what's this about? Well, this alludes to someone called Mick Mannock, who was a World War I fighter ace. That then leads us to the building that's behind us, which was actually part of the world's largest aircraft factory during World War I. Okay, and it was run by a company called Airco, which was short for the Aeroplane Manufacturing Company. And this bit of road here is quite important because this is where all the workers used to come out and catch trams onto the Edgware Road just behind us. So this whole area on both sides of the road was dominated by aircraft factories, which started in around about 1915, I think. There was no exact date of when building started, but this was all effectively countryside, apart from behind us where we can see Merritt House. That used to be the tram depot, which the trams used to run from central London all the way through. So we're going to take a little walk around and see some of the other parts, the remaining aspects, and there's not a lot. And the main reason for doing this video, really, with Roger's kind assistance, is to alert to the fact that there is one building left which I really feel should be listed, preserved. There's not a lot to it, but it's quite important historically. So we're going to talk about that. And then she takes you down to what was RAF Hendon, but in World War I was simply Hendon Aerodrome, or the London Aerodrome, set up by Claude Graham White in around about 1911. So things happened quite quickly from the point of view of literally a field down there to what was the proving ground for new aircraft for the Royal Air Forces, or the Royal Flying Corps and the Royal Naval Air Service, because the RAF didn't exist until 1918. So along this road, in around about 1916, Handley Page, Sir Frederick Handley Page, his company brought his large bomber down this road all the way from Cricklewood, just the body and the wings on a horse-drawn carriages, and they had to chop down things like lampposts to get it down there. So a real windy route. If you've been down that road, you know how windy it is. So that's a little interesting anecdote. Basically, if you look round to this side here, you can see what was the offices of Airco, which that would have been built around about, I don't know, towards the end of the war, I suppose. As you can see, I think they had grand plans to be here for a while, but after the war, the money ran out because of... Right, so this building here is that building there. And that's the primary reason for doing this video with Roger, is to point out that that building is the last sizable factory building from Airco, and as you can see it says Aircraft Manufacturing Company. So that would be on that bit of wall there. That door on the side there has obviously been put in afterwards, and the windows have been filled in. But if you took all the paint off, you'd be able to see where those windows were. It's had a change to the frontage, but this is that building. And if you go inside, if you've ever had your car, had new bits and pieces put in your car, and if you went in there, you'll notice that there's steel work, which is definitely not 21st century. So I would very much like to see that listed. Whether or not that could be done, I don't know. I made an inquiry with Historic England, who are people who are supposed to look after our heritage. They said it's not listed. So if you feel moved, maybe you'd like to contact them and put forward, and maybe we'll start a petition and see what you think. So a fascinating bit of Colindale's history, which a lot of people just drive past or walk past without any knowledge of. What is another remaining part of Airco's development. It's pretty innocuous, or whatever the word is, but it's an electricity substation building, and so it has survived merely because what's inside there is important. But as you can see from all this sort of decorative brickwork, it's very much of its age, and this would have been around about, I guess, probably about 1916, 17. So it matches in very much with the style of brickwork which was further down with the Airco offices, which we talked about. And yes, I think it's an interesting little building. We're on Capital Way, and behind us is Asda, big superstore, which has been there since the middle 80s, I think, mid to late 80s. That used to be, on the footprint of that site, was the main assembly hall for Airco. It was a huge building for its time, and it had quite an impressive sort of way that it was done, and it was used afterwards, after the war, by General Motors to make Chevrolet trucks, and then it became Frigidaire, which some of you older viewers might recall, and that was there until probably the late 70s. So this is an important industrial area of northwest London, and there's nothing to tell you it was. So here we've been saying about, oh, there's nothing to tell you that there was an aircraft company. Well, there is, and this is it. And it's called Airco Close, as you can see. It leads to a development. Buildings put up in the last 10 years or so. So that's it. If you're looking for some kind of recognition of the fact that there was a company called Airco here, that is it. And the sort of land behind us here, there's a school, but it was open fields, and it was used actually by the company as a small sort of airfield. So they could actually fly stuff out the back of their factory complex, as well as obviously that way, which is where our
They've cleared out your desk.